the recording right now, and we are now live.
Aloha! Thank you for joining us today. I'm Naomi Hazelton, founder and publisher of Pacific Edge Magazine, and we're celebrating 16 years this year in business, looking at and featuring amazing individuals, leaders, and entrepreneurs through their passion, motivation, and innovation. Welcome to Pacific Edge Magazine's newest P.E.M talk, which the acronym stands for Passion, Experience, and Motivation. We hope after this presentation that you will feel passionate and motivated to travel in the very near future throughout our beautiful, beautiful island chain. Many know that the resort bubble solution, COVID testing and vaccinations are allowing travel to pick up again. And it's a great time to travel within our beautiful state, especially with spring and summer upon us. We are excited to introduce you today to three amazing and dedicated leaders within Hawaii's hotel industry. And we will be hearing from Mr. Jim Braman, the general manager at the Cliffs at Princeville, as well as Monica Salter, Vice President of Global Communications and Social Responsibility at Outrigger Hospitality Group. And last but not least, Mr. Mark Lay, the Director of Sales and Marketing for Four Seasons Resort Hualalai. At the end of this webinar, we will be picking a winner to receive a 2-night staycation at the Waikiki Beachcomber, compliments of Outrigger Hotels and Resorts. And one other thing, please kindly note that questions and answers are available at the end of the presentations. So please have them ready for the chat box. Mahalo nui loa, buddy. And thank you so much, Mr. Leong at VSC Productions, for making the behind the scenes so smooth. And now I would like to turn our focus to Mr. Jim Braman, the General Manager at the Cliffs at Princeville.
Aloha, Naomi. Thank you. Aloha, everyone. I'm very excited to be here today. I appreciate the invitation and a chance to share the Cliffs at Princeville with you. Come on. My slides went away. Uh-oh. As I get my slides here, one moment, please. Oh no, it's moving. Why is it doing this? I'm sorry, I'm having technical difficulties here.
Jim, do you want me to share your presentation for you?
Yes, if you would, that would be fantastic.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you. The Cliffs at Princeville is 22 acres located in the master planned resort community of Princeville on the north shore of Kauai. We're very excited to be a part of this today, and we have an excellent location to be the gateway to the North Shore and all the activities that come along with that. Open your door to the majesty of the North Shore. We've remained open throughout the entire pandemic, and we were one of the original 5 resort bubbles on Kauai. This allowed us to stay open throughout the time, and really, I would describe it as making lemonade from lemons that we were given here. And we kept all 75 employees working throughout the whole time, thankfully able to maintain all their insurance and welcome guests for the most part all the way through. It's been tough though. The resort is currently at about 50% occupancy is all, and it's a lot of extra work in the bubble. All of the reporting to the county and everything like that. Could you go to the next slide, buddy? As I said, located on a cliff, we're about 150 feet above the ocean. Excellent viewing for whales. As you can see in the picture there, there is a barbecue pavilion and chairs, Adirondack chairs there. Our 202 suites are all completely self-contained. They're full kitchens, 2 bathrooms, and the resort has 129 timeshare rooms and 73 vacation rental rooms. Next slide, please. We also are very dedicated to green travel. The resort has over 3,000 solar panels, which generate about 53% of the resort's electricity. We were rated by RCI as their greenest resort out of all 1,800 affiliated resorts in the United States, and have been part of the Hawaii Green Business Program for the last 2 years now. Next slide, Betty. Our property is excellent for families. And Princeville itself as a master plan community is a beautiful place to bike ride, go hiking, walking around the property, around the entire community here. Buddy? We offer 2 swimming pools, 2 hot tubs. There are sport courts with tennis courts, pickleball courts, basketball, a playground for children, and also a 9-hole putting green here on the property. Next slide, please, buddy. As I said, the location of Princeville is just absolutely fantastic on the north shore of Kauai, which is one of the most beautiful places in all the islands. We're the luckiest people in the world to be here at all, but to get to be here on the north shore is absolutely fantastic. One more, buddy. Hanalei Bay is excellent for water sports all throughout the year. Family surf lessons, there's 2.5 miles of white sand beach, and just absolutely spectacular conditions throughout. Next slide, please, buddy. There are surf lessons there. There are catamaran rides, snorkeling, diving, and just world-class water sports of all types. Next slide, please. But surfing is king for sure. And there are 5 different surf spots throughout the bay, ranging from absolute beginner to world-class expert-only conditions from time to time. And they can occur all at the same time in different parts of the bay. Next slide. The iconic Hanalei Pier, built in the early 1900s to service this part of the island, is still there and is a family favorite. Jumping off the pier is a rite of passage for young kids on Kauai all throughout their lives for sure. Next slide, please, buddy. This shot shows from the far side of the bay, looking back towards the east, and you can see the size and just absolute beauty of the surrounding areas. Next slide, please, buddy. Mackay Golf Course is also here in Princeville, managed by Troon Golf, consistently one of the top 10 courses, and just absolutely beautiful. There's all kinds of specials available, and for singles, there's also activity days where it's maybe a men's tournament today or a 9-hole tournament for people that don't want to dedicate their entire time. And absolutely beautiful to ride on the golf cart tour in the evening, go out and watch sunset, have a Makai Tai as you watch the sunset go down over the Queen's Bath. Next slide, please, buddy. Princeville Ranch and Silver Falls Ranch are both located just a couple of miles from here, and just absolutely spectacular horseback riding on the North Shore with the mountains. Both offer rides to waterfalls for picnics and all sorts of things, and another excellent family or couple activity. Next slide, please, buddy. When you get back from the day, there's always the bluff again, and sunset looking out over the ocean and the Adirondack chairs is just an absolutely spectacular way to end the day. Next slide, please, buddy. And shot across the property there, showing out towards the ocean. Next slide, please, buddy. All of our condos are just recently renovated, completely redone from top to bottom. As I said, that we offer full kitchens, living room, 2 baths, and a master bedroom with its own bath as well. Next slide, please, buddy. Another shot showing the interior there. And then one more, please, buddy. Shot showing the kitchen there, all brand new appliances. The next shot, please, buddy. And then the master bedroom. One of the things that we really tried to do was maintain the Hawaiian decor while we tried to modernize. So tried to find that balance between the two. Next slide, please, buddy. We're ready to welcome back guests. The resort is ready. We've been open the whole time. Kauai is extremely safe. There are virtually no cases of COVID, have not been cases of COVID. And if you're willing to do the resort bubble, it's a great time to come right now. And then April 5th, we'll re-welcome travelers from around the world with no quarantine. And I encourage you, try and come as soon as you can, because this is a unique window in time where you can have the island virtually to yourself before the number of visitors go all the way back in. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Jim. I'm so homesick. I want to get back like right now. Mark, can you send the private jet? Oh, Jim, thank you. Yeah, I think one of the interesting things too, and we'll get into that possibly later, is you know, the fact that you've kind of converted some of those spaces up there with HBO, but we can talk about that in a while. I want to introduce the lovely Monica Salter, and I believe that she's ready and prepared to go forward with a great presentation. So take it away, Monica.
Excellent, thank you. I'm going to try and share my screen. Hopefully this one works. Can everyone see that? Brilliant. Okay. Let's move this over. The joys of Zoom. Okay, so before I start my presentation, I want to say that, Jim, I'm ready to go to Kauai. That looked phenomenal. So I can't wait. Again, like Naomi said, my name is Monica Salter, and I have the honor of leading Outrigger's global communications team and social responsibility initiatives. So here's a quick roadmap of what I'll be sharing today, starting with Outrigger's humble beginnings to some updates we made during COVID and exciting future endeavors with our flagship Outrigger Reef Resort. In 1929, Roy and Estelle Kelly arrived in Hawaii with little more than a few dollars in their pockets and a lot of determined optimism. They saved, they invested, started a family, and 18 years later, in 1947, built their first hotel, which was a 5-story, 50-room walk-up in Waikiki. And when I think about that, I can't even imagine lugging my 2 kids with all of our luggage up 5 flights of stairs, but apparently that was the norm. Today, Outrigger operates premier beach resorts throughout Hawaii and Asia Pacific. In Hawaii, we have 25 owned, operated, and managed properties. Naomi asked me yesterday how many we had on each island. So we've got 11 on Oahu, we've got 7 on Maui, 3 on Kauai, and 4 on Hawaii Island. When the pandemic hit, we, like everyone else, had to pivot quickly to ensure the health and well-being of our guests and hosts. So we worked with a company called Ecolab, which is the global leader in hospitality sanitation, to create Outrigger's Clean Commitment. And this includes everything from enhanced cleaning to technology such as UV wands and electrostatic sprayers. And our goal is really to provide a worry-free stay for our guests. So as Safe Travels started bringing visitors back to Hawaii, Outrigger joined HTA's Malama Hawaii campaign to provide opportunities for guests to give back while vacationing in Hawaii. And we partnered with Kualoa Ranch on the Malama Hawaii experience. And what that is it provides guests with a unique hands-on 2-hour volunteerism activity. And in exchange for doing this, they receive every third night free with us. So we love that this program encourages mindful and ultimately regenerative travel. And last month, we unveiled something called the Outrigger Promise with a bold pledge. And that is that guests will love their Hawaii holiday Outrigger. And if not, we'll credit the guest for a future stay on us on the house. So we are so confident that guests who come to Hawaii will love their experience, that if they don't, we will provide them with a room for them to come back and try again. So those are good for 4-night stays up to 15 nights. It's a limited time offer. So if you want to take advantage of this, you have to book by May 1st and do it directly through outrigger.com or through our call center reservations line. One of the properties that you could take advantage of for the Outrigger Promise is Outrigger Waikiki. It stayed open throughout the pandemic. We first were serving only essential workers and guests through the Hotels for Heroes program. But now it's of course open to everyone. We've got a lot of aina that are staying, especially doing weekend staycations. And the magic of this location is that it's built on the site of the original Outrigger Canoe Club, and it has a nostalgic surf vibe. So we have a fun platform here called Surfers in Residence, where we bring in someone from the surf industry to talk story with our guests and sometimes even surf with them. The program went online during COVID, but we are modifying it to be live again soon. And stay tuned for our next guest, which is an international surf star that we're looking forward to have him, that's the hint, it's a him, share their experiences. The property is of course also known for Duke's Restaurant, which is iconic for food, drink, Mai Tais, live music at night. Every Sunday, Henry Capono plays Duke's on Sunday there. And of course, Hula Grill and Sunrise Shack is there. And it's also home to Blue Note Hawaii for awesome music and comedy acts. And for aina, we've got rates starting at $179, which is really hard to beat for the pristine location that it is right now. So as Jim said, travel right now for aina it's an ideal time to do it for aina. There's less people in Waikiki and the rates are amazing. The other property that I wanted to talk about that's part of the Outrigger Promise is Waikiki Beachcomber by Outrigger. As Naomi mentioned, this is the property that you could win a 2-night stay after this session. So Waikiki Beachcomber by Outrigger is a craft hotel in the heart of Waikiki. The property underwent a $35 million modernization in 2019, and then we temporarily suspended operations during COVID, but it's now open again and essentially brand new. The hit vibe for the property was created by a set of influencers and artisans that we call the Beachcomber Originals. And for example, underwater surf photographer Zach Noyle, his prints are seen throughout the property. And it even has a custom sound to the property. So we worked with Slack Key sensation Makana to create a signature sound for the property. Here's a picture of the room, and it also has neat yukata robes, which is a thin Japanese robe that people can use while in the rooms. And what we noticed is that a trend during COVID is that people started working from hotels. So rather than working from home, they worked from hotels. And so what we did is we created weekly rates for all of our properties. And at the Beachcomber, you can do a weekly rate starting at just $100 a night, which is pretty epic to be able to work from a hotel room. And it's located right next to International Marketplace and across the street from the beach. So a super great destination to do that. And then I also wanted to reiterate that as a premier beach resort brand, the health of the oceans is really important to us. And we launched Outriggers Zone, or Ozone, back in 2014 as a global conservation initiative. And the goal is to preserve, to protect, and to plant coral reefs. So unfortunately here in Hawaii, we're not able to plant coral, but if you stayed at one of our properties in Fiji, for example, that would be a signature experience to be able to plant coral during your stay. Here in Hawaii, we partner with a number of wonderful nonprofits like NOAA and Sustainable Coastlines for activations, and we have a number of on-property activations as well. And I just want to flag that coming up March 20th, if you're on Oahu, we partnered with Bishop Museum on a science and sustainability fair. And so you can go to Bishop Museum's website to sign up for that. And finally, I wanted to share that we recently announced the details for an $80 million investment at the flagship Outrigger Reef Waikiki Beach Resort. And we're doing a top to bottom transformation. It unites barefoot luxury with Hawaiian culture, and the resort will reopen late spring. So it'll have, these are, you can see here some of the pictures of the room product, a new entryway. The bottom shot below is the new check-in area with basalt check-in stations. The photo behind the check-in stations, it's actually a painting by Herb Kane, and we have a number of his images throughout the property. And the resort really focuses on the voyaging culture. So we've got a great relationship with Polynesian Voyaging Society, and they will be heavily featured throughout this property. Also exciting for this property is that just this month, we announced that the anchor restaurant for the resort will be Monkey Pod Kitchen by Merriman. And this is of course led by culinary pioneer and Hawaii regional cuisine founder, Chef Peter Merriman. The resort can seat about 500 people when there are not COVID restrictions. So depending on what happens in the future, it could seat up to 500. And it will be for sure a vibrant atmosphere, perfect for everything from happy hour cocktails and a light poo-poo to celebrating a special occasion. And I think a great spot to further enhance Waikiki for both locals and visitors alike. So hopefully that was informative. And if you want any additional information on Outriggers, Aina offers or various properties, the best place to go is outrigger.com. Thank you.
Great job, Monica. Thank you so much. I am actually really excited to look at the opportunity perhaps in partnering with you on a big event at Monkey Pod in the near future. I'm excited with all of the renovations as well for the reef, and I thought your presentation was great, so thank you again. And now we're going to move on to Mr. Mark Lay. Mark, take it away.
Aloha and good morning, everybody. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for having me. Was born and raised on the Big Island, and so I'm always partial to my island. But what I love so much about Hawaii in general is that we have so many options, and each island is so different. And we can all present a wide array of activities and travel destinations. I mean, watching Jim talk about Kauai has been super exciting. I love that island, and listening to Monica talk about all the crazy things, cool things that are happening with Outrigger always gets me excited about making a trip back over to Waikiki. And surfers in residence, huh? I don't know. I'd be down to surf with Kelly, somebody or other, if that's the guy. We'll wait to see what happens. So today I thought I would take a minute and merge a couple of things. Four Seasons Hualalai, we were lucky to take advantage of our closure last year and start a $110 million renovation of the property, which has been fantastic as we've worked all the way through. And so there's a lot of new things that are happening in the property. And I thought I would sort of take some of those updates and some other things we've done around programming and merge it with some trends that we're seeing around travel in general and what people are thinking about and what they're looking for. So I want to talk a little bit about our programming on the property and those trends that we see, and why now more than ever is the time to travel. Now more than ever is the time to visit Hawaii, visit our other islands, support our hotels, and hey, if you're up for it, come and visit me here at Hualalai. So I want to start by talking about the very first trend that we're seeing, and it's something we've been watching on social media, something we're hearing as we're talking to guests. We're all still dreaming throughout the world. We're still dreaming about travel. Not everybody has yet been freed from their homes and restrictions and had a chance to get out there. And so what that means over time is that our guests and our travelers, as they come to Hawaii, have built these expectations in their head of what that trip looks like, and what's going to happen when they do come to Hawaii. And with that comes a sense of responsibility around creative programming. Monica has mentioned some great programs that are happening within Outrigger that I think are really exciting, and a way for us to really have a chance to connect our travelers back to Hawaii. And so that dreaming is fantastic because it also translates into demand. Demand for Hawaii. We're fortunate right now to be taking advantage of that wonderful time where Hawaii is the safe international destination, which is very much national. And for those of us within the islands to travel back and forth. Hawaii was just noted as the safest place to travel to in the US. And I think that that's a pretty amazing thing. But what it leads to is another trend that we're seeing, which is one of intimate experiences. We are still seeing that a lot of travelers don't want big crowds. They want to find a way to have things that are unique to them, as safety is still a concern. It's not for everybody, but it is for quite a few travelers. As a result of that, we've taken the time to really grow out what we call our Only at Hualalai experiences. And these are experiences where we connect our guests with the local craftsmen on the island. So what you're looking at here is a handful of sandalwood sawdust. We have an amazing partnership with a gentleman who is regrowing ancient Hawaiian sandalwood forests on the island. And we bring our guests up to the property, and they get to learn about the history of sandalwood and the role that it played in the growth of Hawaii, and then see how we are sustainably farming that and turning that into all sorts of products, one of which is a sandalwood oil, which is featured in our spa. And so our guests have a chance to go and take part in these experiences where they meet a craftsman, a craftswoman, have a unique connection to Hawaii, and then they're able to draw that back in an experience that is intimate. It's a way for them to do it in a small group as a couple or a family. And that's really important. Another trend which has maintained for a very long time is culinary. And so if we can jump to that next slide real quick. Food, as we talked about with Monkey Pod, continues to be an important factor of travel. People want to experience the destination through culinary. Was that screen able to move forward for everyone? There we go. That's the one I was looking for. Meet Chef Nuri. He is our resident sushi chef, and he actually became the inspiration for a program that we're calling Chef in Residence. A number of restaurants are closed around Hawaii and around the country. And so we wanted to look for a way to sort of combine that concept of culinary adventure with support of our extended hospitality community. So for the rest of the year, once a month, we're going to be bringing in a chef either from locally here in Hawaii, from an outer island, or from around the US to do a chef in residence program with us. They'll come in for a weekend, teach culinary classes, take over Ulu, our fine dining restaurant, one night and influence the menu, and generally look for a way to expand some excitement, some creativity around that culinary adventure, which is so important to people. Another trend which has remained strong, but we're seeing even stronger as we talk to our guests, is this idea of exploration. As travelers have been locked up in their homes, dreaming about where they want to go, they're looking for opportunities to explore Hawaii when they get here. And a big part of that is recommendations. You know, one of my favorite stories of sort of older tourism in Hawaii in the 40s and 50s is when people would go and visit Waikiki and they'd meet a beach boy, and the beach boy would tell them all the great places to go to. In Hawaii, we do that so well. That is our sense of aloha, as we share the things that we love. Guaranteed Jim has got his favorite restaurant right around his corner, or a great place to get a cup of coffee or a smoothie in the morning, or hey, here's the hike you got to go on. And so with our concierge, we've stepped it up a notch in terms of creating much more intimate itineraries for our guests when they come in, as we help them to explore the island as a whole and not just the property. A trend that I'm really excited about, because it's gotten me to push some of my creative programming boundaries, is this idea of our guests want to relax their way, much like the exploration. They want to be in charge of what they're doing. They want to have a menu of things to choose from. So what you're looking at here is how we've evolved that concept a little bit. This is our King's Pond on the property. And so King's Pond for the last 25 years is the pond just beyond the pool here. That is a 1.8 million gallon swimmable aquarium. It has 4,000 tropical fish in it and a spotted eagle ray. And it's a great place for guests to learn how to snorkel. If they're not, if the ocean is a place they're not very comfortable with, that's a place that they can go to. We have 8 full-time marine biologists on the property who take care of this pond and then provide education in the little hale you see on the lava just on the other side of the pool. We educate our guests on the reef system out in front, which we've helped to protect, on the fish that they're going to see, which is in there, and overall ocean conservation, which is very important. But we wanted to expand that footprint and grow it. And so while we were closed, we actually built this infinity edge pool right on the edge of it so that our guests could have a chance to stay longer in this area, to have more of a casual, relaxed environment. We were able to build out a culinary program around this area now, which features local fresh ingredients from right up the hill, and then a seafood menu, which comes mostly from local fishermen that we partner with. So we were able to take this one beautiful area and grow it so that it's multi-use, so that our guests have a chance to really pick and choose and create something that is unique to them. Perfect for families and a great way for us to continue to grow there. I always get excited about the next trend because I'm still a 12-year-old boy at heart. This idea that people want to be introduced to something new. We see it a lot as we're talking to our guests. We're having conversations, whether it's in reservations or concierge. Why are you coming out to Hawaii? What do you want to do? What's happening while you're here? And we get a lot of people saying, I don't know, I want to get out. I want to just do something new and different that I've never done before. So we took the idea of snorkeling and thought we would up our game a little bit and put these James Bond styled scooters into our outdoor water program. And it's just one small example that we've done throughout the property as part of the overall renovation and the increased programming. But, it's a way to get your hands on a new toy. Or, another opportunity of that would be we expanded our golf program. We did a full top to bottom renovation on the golf course, and we added a state-of-the-art golf hallway, which I didn't put a picture of in here. So you're gonna have to search for that one. Google Hualalai Golf Hallway if you get a chance, and check that out. It's a pretty cool space. It's got entertainment, Top Golf swing suite, alongside TrackMan technology. All of it, though, new and fun ways to engage in a passion or an activity that people love. And then finally, for me, is the trend of playfulness. And playfulness is something that we're seeing from families. Family travel is going to be massive throughout the rest of 2021. There is huge interest for multi-gen travel where you've got grandparents bringing their kids and the grandchildren. We're seeing huge upticks in terms of family travel, whether it's 3, 4, 5 people in a family unit coming. Perfect. I mean, I can see myself sitting out on Jim's lawn, watching the whales, hanging out with my kid and my family as well. I think that's going to be incredible for us. And with that comes a sense of playfulness as we expand in-room amenities as a way to welcome, whether it's new and fun toys, getting to know who the kids are before they arrive, looking for enhanced programmings. We partner with a group called Camp Manitou, which actually provides custom programming for the tweens. We'll call them sort of 10 to 14, 15-year-olds. We have our Kids for All Seasons, which manages the younger kids, but that in-between zone needs a little extra love. So over spring break, over summer, we bring in Camp Manitou, and they take the kids on adventures like the One Wheel, or they take them off property to Kiholo Bay to go swim in the Queen's Bath, or hike into Pololu Valley. But overall, playfulness and joy, I think, is a theme that we all want to focus on for the coming year. So with that, I want to move into my last slide and just give you a couple more details on the renovation of the property. Hualalai has long been known for having a bit of upcountry elegance to the property. And so as we entered our renovation, it's a beloved component. And so we looked for ways to elevate the products that are in the rooms, to brighten them and to make them feel more residential in nature. And so we have FF&E changes and openings of wall areas, enhanced media walls and technology to make it feel more like a home, more like a residence, a place where you want to come and stay. So we've just completed all of our rooms renovation. We added the King Spawn. We updated the golf course and the golf hallway, and we're currently building out our specialty suites, our 3 top presidential suites, into 2-story villas, which are going to be absolutely amazing. So I'm very excited about all those elements. We're looking for fun new ways to bring programming as we continue to invite guests back. And personally, I'm excited for our future here in Hawaii, whether it's on Kauai, it's on Oahu, it's on Maui, it's here on the Big Island. Future looks bright, and I think I'm excited to welcome people and start traveling again. Jim, you'll be seeing an email from me here shortly. Monica, we already talked about it. So Naomi, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome job. Well done. Hualalai looks amazing. As you know, I was there early January. I can't wait to get back, and I'm excited too. I really am. I think it's a beautiful time right now for us as Aina, and for those of you that are certainly viewing us from the mainland. It is a special time for us all. It gives us the opportunity to slow down a bit. And like you said, take time with family, especially as leaders and entrepreneurs. Now is the perfect time to escape the office, do some surfing. If you don't surf, swim, and new activities and food. I mean, Hawaii loves to eat. It's a foodie culture. So all great points. And thank you all. There are some questions. And some of these questions are going to apply to all three of you. So I guess what we could do is I could go ahead and ask the question, and then certainly you can intermittently interject. All right, so this is a question I'm sure everyone wants to know. Yes, the question is, are they offering aina rates for all these hotels right now? And certainly, Monica, you spoke of that. Jim and Mark, you did as well. But if you want to explore that a little further, or perhaps call out a website or an Instagram site.
I'll jump in first. So Hualalai definitely has aina rates. What we chose to do to keep it sort of easy and consistent across is we offer a straight 40% discount off of all of our rooms. And the best way to do that is to just call reservations and check availability.
Great, thank you.
I'll jump in next. The Cliffs does very much the same. Just go to www.cliffs.com and all the rates are right there for you. And there's some great discounts as we speak.
All right. And Monica, we have your rates. You presented them in your slides. So thank you. Okay, wonderful. So another question. So I guess, Jim, this probably applies to you more than anything else. So I think there's a little confusion still with Kauai and travel. So if we live in the state of Hawaii, explain to us the process now as it relates today in traveling to Kauai.
You can, as of right now today, if you're on one of the other islands, you can take the pre-test, the PCR test from a trusted partner, and you can come to Kauai with no quarantine. You need to take that 72 hours in advance. From the mainland, currently you would take that test 72 hours in advance and then come and stay in a resort bubble for 3 days, and then take a second test, which most of us that are resort bubbles offer right on property. And then you're free from there after 3 days. That, though, will end as of April 5th when we rejoin Safe Travels, and our travel restrictions will be just the same as all the other islands. So again, a 72-hour pre-test before you come to the islands, and then you're free to go. Kauai will be implementing a voluntary, incentivized second test 3 days later. So most resorts will be offering that on property or nearby. And guests can get, the Chamber of Commerce is partnering with a lot of local businesses, especially those that have been impacted during the COVID period here, and to offer incentives. If you take the test, you get what's called a Kokua card, and that Kokua card will get you discounts and incentives all throughout the island.
Okay, great. So that really explains it well. And what I understand too, Jim, certainly if we're Anaina and we head on over there, don't you have some food trucks on property as well?
We do here at the Cliffs. We do not have a restaurant, and so we do different food trucks several days a week. And that's a great way to go. And there's some very interesting food trucks here on Kauai that we're lucky to partner with.
Wonderful, thank you. All right, so the next question is, well, this is an interesting one. How big do Instagram influencers play in the marketing of Hawaii tourism right now? And the question continues, how does one get a paid partnership with these hotels?
I can start and jump in on that. So I'd say for Outrigger, we understand that social media plays a large part in people learning about the destination and trying to figure out where they want to go and travel. And so we have paid more attention in the last, I'd say, 2-3 years to boosting our Facebook, Instagram page, even LinkedIn for a new information source, because people don't directly go to your website specifically. They might be searching on Instagram, scrolling one night thinking, I'd really love a vacation. And then they see a picture of Hualalai and want to go there. And so we definitely do utilize that platform. As far as working with social media influencers, we do get a lot of pitches from all kinds of people who are interested in staying with Outrigger. And so usually the requests will go to my office. So if you are a social media influencer, you are welcome to email me. My email address is monica.salter@outrigger.com. And what we'll do is we'll take a look at your feed and your profile. It's all on an individual basis. And so we'll see if it's a good fit for our brand. And traditionally what we'll do is we actually don't pay social influencers to stay with us. We will partner with them. Sometimes we'll provide either a discounted room, or every once in a while we'll provide a comp room for a number of other paid rooms. But we really want people to, if they are staying with us, that we don't want a paid endorsement. We want them to really feel like they love the destination, and so they want to share it. And so if you're a social media influencer and you want to stay with Outrigger, we would love to work with you. So send me an email and we can take a look at your feed and get you a good rate and have you join our property. Usually what we'll do is we'll do an exchange for photos. So take some good photos, we'll share it on our site and hopefully promote you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think if I can just jump in there, Monica, that's a great response to it. You know, what we're all really looking for is ways to help people stay engaged, and the idea of content, you know, at least for us here at Hawaii, content is generally what we're looking for. It's not exposure, or the fact that somebody's got 1 million followers or 2 million followers. We're more interested in people who can capture what it means to be here. And to capture sort of the essence of the space, and that's what we look for in terms of our influencer partnerships, and you know, kind of the same deal in terms of what comes down for the exchange for those elements. If anybody's interested in working with Hualai, the best way to do it is to hit us up through our Instagram with a direct message. That way, my digital marketing team can stay in touch with you there, and we can start the conversation. But back to the beginning of what you said, Monica, I think, you know, social's not going anywhere, and we all need to be there. So it's a big part of what we do.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah,
Jim?
I think you both said it very, very well. We do very much the same thing. And we just really started to play in this space a couple of years ago, and then picked up the game in the last year during COVID, and have started to do a little bit more. Like you, we've been fairly selective in who we've worked with, and it's more around the messaging that we're looking to get out at the time, and maybe the specific of what is happening, as opposed to just I've got 1 million followers and that. We have not paid anybody either. We do content trades and for stays and that sort of thing, and we have discounted rates for influencers. And the same way, best way to approach the Cliffs, if you would like to do that, is to go through our Instagram as well, and just give us a message there and we'll get right back to you.
Thank you, Jim. All right, there's another question. So it looks like it's from Kelly. Hi, Kelly. Kelly Banks.
Kelly.
Hey. All right, Kelly. So she asks, comparing 2021 business against 2019 for quarter 3 and 4. Oh, this is good. What trends are you seeing? Again, yeah, so comparing 2021 business against 2019 for Q3 and Q4, what trends are you seeing?
That is a very specific question. I almost feel like you're in hospitality. We are on for the Big Island in general, and for Hualalai, we're actually, believe it or not, still seeing a fairly strong group base in Q3 and Q4, and we're still seeing some corporate groups that are wanting to be there. And then I think what's encouraging to me is we're seeing leisure travel reservations continually rising over the last couple of weeks, which shows that people aren't just planning for tomorrow. they're actually thinking about the major holidays, festive, Thanksgiving, but also taking advantage of what we all know in Hawaii as being a little more of a value time is that September, October period.
That's great. That's encouraging. Thank you. Monica, Jim, do you want to answer that?
Sure, I'll jump in there. Kelly, great question. Good to hear from you. Yeah, we're seeing, the Cliffs does not do group business, but we are seeing a very quick uptick after the announcement of April 5th opening of Kauai. We're seeing a very quick uptick, and our third and fourth quarters are filling in on pace to, looks like we should come in about the same as 2019. We're looking, it looks like we're going to have a pretty quick rebound once everything goes. And I think that's, you know, the vaccines are rolling out. Kauai's been an incredibly safe place. As Mark said, Hawaii's been voted as one of the safest places to travel. And I think things will rebound quickly. Very optimistic about that.
Yeah, I'll jump in as well to say that right now, in general, we're looking at a 30% occupancy. On the weekends, it will go up. It really depends on the property. So between 30 to 50% on the weekends. Looking forward to Q3 and 4, it is increasing, but the problem that's happening right now is that we only have the US traveler base that's coming to Hawaii. So until we're able to open up to Japan and Australia and Canada, which are 3 of our top markets, it's really not going to come back. And so depending on what happens with the international borders, that's what's going to be a game changer for Hawaii, really returning to our 2019 levels, because right now we're just doing a US audience.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really interesting right now also to hear what is versus the facts, right? There's so many things going on out there in social media and certainly on the news and in different places. So it's sometimes hard to determine unless you speak to the horse's mouth directly. So I appreciate that. Thank you both, or thank you all. And you know, it's about 10:53, so I definitely want to stay on track. And we will be doing our giveaway just very soon. One other quick question. Let's see here. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so here's a question for you guys, for all 3 of you. Where do you see trends happening for 2022? Is that too hard to forecast, or are you just playing it quarter to quarter right now? Trends in visitors, occupancy.
For us, it's kind of quarter to quarter. It's early in the game. So for 2022 especially, it's a little hard to track. But like I said before, we're hopeful, and with 2021 tracking well and falling back into its normal pattern, I'm hoping that 2022 will as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we're seeing the return of the group base again, which is always encouraging because it allows us to yield and grow appropriately. And then we're seeing, we generally take reservations 1 year in advance. And so we're seeing a return to, you know, spring break pickup, interest and sort of peak demands that we would already anticipate in that space. Which again, but similar to Jim, I think we're just, you know, everything is still very volatile. You know, we see great weeks of pickup and then something happens and we see shifting changes in our forecast.
Yeah, I would agree with both Jim and Mark. The other thing that I would add is that it's interesting to see consumer trends going in the direction of people being more willing to travel. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the other element that we're watching, is that people are more optimistic about taking the vaccine. And so as people talk about having a vaccine passport, that ease of travel will make a big difference in people actually booking. So I'm sure it's probably the same for the other resorts here, but Outrigger, we have a very flexible booking policy right now, the most flexible we've ever been. So essentially for the majority of our properties, if you call us within 24 hours of estimated arrival, you can cancel your reservation. So our goal with that is really understanding that we need to provide our guests the flexibility right now because there's still a lot of uncertainty for the market. So for example, for the Outrigger Promise, you can book a stay for December 1st. And if for some reason the day before something happens and you're not able to get your COVID test or, you know, borders shut down, then you can cancel the reservation with no penalties.
That's awesome. Wow. Okay, great, wonderful. Thank you for clarifying that, and thanks for you all for being a part of this today. I really appreciate it. If any of the attendees certainly would like to get in touch with Monica, Mark, and Jim, may they DM you. All right, sounds good. Okay, so we are going to give away the 2-night staycation, and I'm going to randomly just choose here, and it is JC Abe Cameron. So JC Abe Cameron is the winner of the 2-night staycation. And JC, I believe we have your email on file, so we will connect you with Monica and we'll make that staycation happen. And
JC, we look forward to having you. I'm sure you'll love your stay. We'll make sure that it's a great one for you. Congratulations.
Thank you again. All right, any final parting words before we hand off this, this Zoom conference? We have about 3 minutes. Okay, I guess we're all set then. Thanks again, Mark. Thank you, Jim. And thank you, Monica. And thank you for all of you that attended today. And have an amazing week ahead. And let's cheers with our water, our coffee, to safe travel, fun, family, and amazing staycations, and to all of us supporting each other in this industry and in the state of Hawaii. May you have a beautiful day and much aloha from Pacific Edge Magazine and our presenters today. Goodbye.